Hi there. Now we are doing lesson 92. Miracles are seen in light and strength are one. The idea for today is an extension of the previous one. You do not think of light in terms of strength and darkness in terms of weakness. No, our mind's not trained that way. That is because your idea of what seeing means is tied up with the body in its eyes and brain. Thus, you believe that you can change what you see by putting little bits of glass before your eyes. So when we put glasses on, you know how we go to the eye doctor and get new glasses so we can see? Like I've got reading glasses and distance glasses. Clearly, it's because I'm not believing that I can see perfectly. So we have to adjust. This is among the many magical beliefs that come from the conviction that you are a body and the body's eyes can see. So I am training myself. I affirm this on a regular basis that I can see perfectly because I know that once I believe it 100%, I am not going to need glasses. But until then, I am gentle with myself. I've forgiven myself for believing that my body's eyes is how I look, how I see, as I'm shifting my perception. So as I said, I teach what I'm learning. That's why I love Course in Miracles. I'm learning so much. Continue to go layer after layer after layer, deeper and deeper and deeper into this truth. So paragraph number 2. You also believe the body's brain can think. If you but understood the nature of thought, you could but laugh at this insane idea. Jesus is letting us know. We don't even know. We got a lot of thinking going on, but we don't even know how that happens. It is as if you thought you held the match that lights the sun and gives it all its warmth, or that you held the world within your hands, securely bound until you let it go. Yeah, the ego is very arrogant. We think that, we know how all this got put together, and we really don't. We really don't understand what the nature of reality is, what the nature of God is. We only know what's been taught to us by people who did not understand either. Sentence number 4, paragraph 2. Yet this is no more foolish than to believe the body's eyes can see and the brain can think. Paragraph 3. It is God's strength in you that is the light in which you see, as it is His mind with which you think. So we got to get really clear. We've been given the mind of God to think with. And when we think with God, there is no block. There's no need for our personal will to get asserted in there to block the truth of God. But when we begin to block the truth of God, we get dense and we begin to get heavy. That density causes us to get sick, to get weak, for our eyes to not be as able to see. So it creates a story that has us then need to take care of this body because it becomes weak with density. Sentence number 2, His strength, God's strength, denies your weakness. It is your weakness that sees through the body's eyes, peering about in darkness to behold the likeness of itself. The small, the weak, the sickly and the dying, those in need, the helpless and afraid, the sad, the poor, the starving, and the joyless. We've been taught that all of those things are real. And some of you watching this may be saying, but I'm feeling joyless, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling poor, I don't have enough money in my checking account, I feel that I am starving, I feel afraid, I am needy, I am dying, I'm on my deathbed, I've been given 3 months by the doctor. Many of us are experiencing what the world has been teaching us as true, and we're validating that every time we say, but see, it is true. But that only strengthens the weak part of us that is limited and feels afraid that something can happen to us. That is a block to the presence of love in our mind. That is a block to God's thinking that we could be taken advantage of. So these are seen through eyes that cannot see and cannot bless. Again, when we look at the world through the ego, we are not going to see something that we can bless. We're going to see something that is weak, that we're trying to fix, change, undo, control. Why? Because we're mistaken. Paragraph 4. Strength overlooks these things by seeing past appearances. It keeps its steady gaze upon the light that lies beyond them. So you got to have laser focus. I'm only going to see the truth over there. And again, with my son Spencer, I was committed to the truth of who he was. It was a 4-year journey. He had to come to the place of recognizing his power, his strength, his abilities to shift. I couldn't do that for him, but I could hold steady the truth for him. I could do that and remind him of that all the time, but only he could agree to it. So Jesus is doing the same for us. In A Course in Miracles, Jesus is holding steady the truth for us, giving us ways and in so many hundreds of ways for us to begin to shift, bridge affirmations that will help us begin to get comfortable with some of these concepts that are the truth while we let go of what wasn't true. So let me read this again. Strength overlooks these things by seeing past appearances. When you decide that that strength is in you, you will begin to look past what appears to be real and connect with what is reality within you so that you can see it out there. It keeps its steady gaze upon the light that lies beyond them. It unites with light of which it is a part, saying, I am going to see how God sees because God and I are one. I mean, these are big steps in affirming the truth of who we are. It sees itself. I want to see love. I want to see truth because that is what I am. It brings the light in which yourself appears. The self with a capital S, the more that I see love and beauty out there in magnificence, the more it's reminding me of it in me. But I had to make the choice to see it out there before it actually showed up out there, before I could see it. So you got to be willing to say, yeah, there's $1 million underneath the cushion. I believe it. I had a dream. Somebody told me about it. I trust that it's there before you will lift the cushion. So you will not see the $1 million, but you got to know that it is there. And once you believe that it is there, unseen, that's what faith is all about, you will lift the cushion and voila, there it will be. In darkness, you perceive a self that is not there. Strength is the truth about you. Weakness is an idol falsely worshipped and adored, that strength may be dispelled. In darkness rule where God appointed that there should be light. Our willingness to affirm an ego is to deny what God appointed, when it will that only light is all that would show up inside of this magnificent kingdom, this magnificent universe made of light, which is why we have to understand that we're energy. It's a frequency that vibrates higher. We're ascending, which means we are removing the density of our frequency, the density of our negative thinking, our thoughts that block truth, so that our frequency can increase. That's what's ascending, is so that we can begin to think with God. We need to remove what covers it up and ascend vibrationally to accept the truth. Paragraph 5. Strength comes from truth and shines with light its source has given it. Strength comes from truth. Weakness reflects the darkness of its maker. Weakness reflects out there the darkness that is in me. I'm the maker of the darkness because I created a block. It is sick and looks on sickness, which is like itself. Truth is a savior and can only will for happiness and peace for everyone. I do not agree with anybody who tells me that they are sick and want me to feel sorry. I can't do that because I know that they are powerful creators, creating for them the density that is giving them the experience of sickness. To say, oh, I'm sorry that you're sick, is to validate what is not true. But to say, wow, you're a powerful being using your power to create sickness, now I'm affirming the truth of who they are. Now, I don't go around saying that to people because that would feel unloving and insensitive and unkind. I've done that in my very arrogant phase. I won't do that now. However, in my mind, I hold the truth of their power. So if somebody tells me they're sick, I know you have created this as a projection for you to see what you're using to block yourself from your light. In my mind, I see them easily and effortlessly lifting up that block. Why? Because I want to know the truth of who they are. I want to hold it in my mind. I don't want to buy into their illusion. Sentence number 4 in paragraph 5. It gives its strength to everyone who asks. This is truth. In limitless supply. It sees that lack in anyone would be lack in all. So if one person lacks the conviction of their truth and their wellness being in them, then the whole planet lacks it. That's why we have all bought into the mass consciousness that we need to go to the doctor that we need certain things to make us strong. And while we believe that, well, that's a bridge for us to take care of those things, to use those pills, to use those doctors, to do whatever is necessary, so that when we get to a place of relative peace, then we can begin to read things like this that tell us, oh, that wasn't real. But you can't let yourself go to the doctor and receive the healing that happens in your mind, because it's a miracle. You're receiving the healing. It just comes through your believing it comes through the doctor, but it's really your acceptance of it. If that's the route that is going to help you, it's okay, because your mind still got trained to look for the wellness that is there, and you received it. Nobody did it for you. You received it. You received it from the pill, you received it from the surgery, but you have to receive it. If you don't receive it, you won't get better, because if in your denial that you can get better, in your resistance to get better, you can't. God is not going to force you into your wellness. You have to receive it yourself. And so it gives its light that all may see and benefit as one. Its strength is shared, the strength of truth is shared, that it may bring to all the miracle in which they will unite in purpose and forgiveness and in love. One day we're all going to unite in seeing the best in each other. One day we're all going to unite in seeing how powerful we've been, pretending that we're not. One day we will get there. Weakness, which looks in darkness, cannot see a purpose in forgiveness and in love. It can't. Weakness is a block to these things. It sees all others different from itself and nothing in the world that it would share. Darkness sees higher or lower, better or lesser, good or bad, positive or negative, and nothing in the world that it wants to share. It's not going to want to share truth. It doesn't want to share happiness. It only wants to get or protect what it got. Ego selfish. It judges and condemns, but does not love. This is what darkness, weakness, ego is all about. In darkness, it remains to hide itself and dreams that it is strong and conquering, a victor over limitations that but grow in darkness to enormous size. That voice in the head that keeps telling you that you're not good enough, you're not powerful enough, you're not capable enough, and you're going to work hard and you're going to achieve hard and you're going to go make it out into the world, conquering the class, conquering the degree, conquering the practice, until you get to that corner office, until you get to the $1 million, out there, searching for it, out there, out there, out there. Because the ego wants to feel like it's powerful, and it feels its power by conquering, by bulldozing its way through life. Paragraph 7, it fears and it attacks and hates itself, and darkness covers everything else, leaving its dreams as fearful as itself. No miracles are here, but only hate. It separates itself from what it sees, while light and strength perceive themselves as one. When the light is on and I see my sister hurting because she's went to the doctor and was told she's got a diagnosis that's terminal, I want to be the light that strengthens with her. I'll hold her hand. And when I say my sister, I mean a friend, any person, any woman, my brother, any man, any male, any masculine energy that has condensed and appears to be male. I want them to know that I love them and that I'm with them. And my compassion is what I want them to feel, not my agreement with the diagnosis. Because them feeling loved allows them to open up to receive a little bit more love. Maybe I can help them around the house. Maybe I can do something that is kind for them. That receiving of that light is what allows us to feel connected, because in that moment, they feel I am there with them. Powerful stuff. The light of strength is not the light you see. It's not in this lamp. It's not in that sun. That's not where the light of strength is. It does not change and flicker and go out. It does not shift from night to day and back to darkness till the morning comes again. Light is light is light no matter what. It is consistent. This is the strength. This is the truth of who we are that we're becoming aware so that we can access it consistently. Paragraph 8, the light of strength is constant, sure as love, forever glad to give itself away, doesn't withhold itself, because it cannot give but to itself. Once we know that my brothers and I are one, I am loving and kind to others because I know it's how I feel the love that I want to receive. giving it, I receive it. The joy of loving is the joy itself. There's nothing more joyful than being in the presence of love. Nothing can make me happier than being in the presence of love and joy. To be that presence is all I strive for. No one can ask in vain to share its sight, and none who enter its abode can leave without a miracle before his eyes and strength and light abiding in his heart. No one can ask in vain, no one, and share the light. No, impossible, because love is felt by everybody. Whether they tell you about it in the moment or not, it doesn't matter. It is felt, it touches, it leaves a resonance, it leaves a frequency, it leaves a marker that it could be 3 weeks later. That person can say, oh wow, I was so mean to so-and-so, but they were so kind to me. It may take a while, but they cannot forget that you were the presence of love when they were being the presence of fear and anger and hatred. Paragraph 9. The strength in you will offer you the light and guide your seeing so you do not dwell on idle shadows that the body's eyes provide for self-deception. Strength and light unite in you, and where they meet, yourself, capital S self, stands ready to embrace you as its own. Such is the meeting place we try today to find and rest in. For the peace of God is where yourself, your capital S self, his son, God's child, is waiting now to meet itself again and be as one. Oh my goodness. The meeting place is where we accept the truth that has been true always. The meeting place with $1 million is when you accept that it is there, you lift the cushion and you meet with what is already there. This is telling us when we recognize ourselves as one, when we are willing to accept the truth of who we are, we cannot help but meet. It is destined. Why? Because we're already there. Paragraph 10. Let us give 20 minutes twice today, to join this meeting. Let yourself be brought unto yourself, capital S self. Let yourself be brought unto yourself. We're coming inside. We're coming within. Its strength will be the light in which the gift of sight is given you. Leave then the dark a little while today, and we will practice seeing in the light, closing the body's eyes and asking truth to show us how to find the meeting place of self and self, capital S self, where light and strength are one. We're asking God, please, I'm ready and willing to feel the truth of who I am. Let the merging happen. Let what has already been there come together. Paragraph 11, morning and evening we will practice thus. After the morning meeting, we will use the day in preparation for the time at night when we will meet again in trust. Trust that it's going to happen. Let us repeat as often as we can the idea for today and recognize that we are being introduced to sight and led away from darkness to the light where only miracles can be perceived. We got to come inside to be able to use our sight to see the world as God created it. Why? Because we got to go inside to project what we want to see. And you project what you want to see by removing the blocks to it. The block to sight is to acknowledge sight is real. We block it by believing that's not true. God can't be in me. God can't be energy. This house cannot be energy. That's the block. It's that thought. That is the block. That is how simple it is. Don't think that thought, then you will be in alignment with truth. And even if you feel it for 1 second, that's all it takes for you to get hooked on that truth gives you a resonance that is always going to feel good. All right, my friends, thanks a bunch, and I'll see you for the next lesson. Remember, we are magnificent. Absolutely are. Why? Because that's how God created us. See you later. Bye-bye.